Welcome back, guys, to another Let's Play and History. We're going to finish on James K. Polk, then we're going to talk about his successor, old Rough and Ready himself. I was explaining before very briefly, because I'm just recording this part right after. When I read about history, and I read about these great historical figures and just historical moments, take everything you can with a grain of salt, but more or less I can trust a lot of things and a lot of sources back in let's say, pre-Civil War days. I can largely trust, I think. Now, you can't trust everything. You have to take it all with a grain of salt still, but anything around the Civil War and post-Civil War tends to get real finicky with the facts and or misrepresentation of ideas and or I think just complete complete ambiguity and withholding of certain facts that actually would change people's perspectives on particular moments and historical figures. Like, everyone talks about Abraham Lincoln, for instance, and, they'll talk about certain aspects of his life and certain aspects of his presidency. They'll be like, oh, he did suspend habeas corpus, but, it's like, it's all justified because of the southern states and the rebellion. It's a difficult time during his presidency, but it's like, oh yeah, he also had a correspondence with Karl Marx, the communist leader and dictator, and who had written a lot of various different things that maybe Abraham Lincoln wanted to implement during his second term as president, maybe creating a communist utopia of sorts, and nobody wants to talk about that. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but because I actually personally haven't read those letters, but, it just, I'm always curious why they just don't talk about it as more openly and as broadly as they probably should. Because I only see and hear one, certain group and sect of people usually talk about it and reference it even, and I just think that it's always pretty interesting. But I'd say it really starts around this time where the historical murkiness really starts taking hold. And I'll be fair to James K. Polk, it's not his fault. It's more so just the circumstances of the situation and wanting to really gain Texas, this let's just say primo state for to be a part of the Union, to have a lot of leverage over Mexico and the North American continent and South American continent. I mean, you're gonna I get it, and there are reasons for why they went about doing things the way that they did ultimately. I gotta go all the way back to get this one guy. Come on, dude. Hydro gun. Oh. Sorry, my dogs. It's the summer, people, as of this recording, and a lot of people be walking their dogs, you know what I'm saying? I think they want to be walking pretty soon, so I'll probably have to get on that. Ultimately, Polk does get the things that he ultimately campaigns on and does what he's supposed to do. He ultimately does one term. They win the United States wins the Mexican-American War after 3.5 contentious years, which I'll detail more explicitly when I talk about the Mexican-American War. ironically, him basically sacking Zachary Taylor or having the disputes with Zachary Taylor, his successor, leads to him effectively being the Whig nominee versus a very weak Democratic nominee, unfortunately, which leads to the Whigs winning the presidency the following election. So James K. Polk ends up kind of screwing the Democrats over a little bit, unintentionally so, I might add, which leads to, some real weird stuff the next 4 years following James K. Polk's term as president. Now, when Polk leaves office, he is, to this day, the shortest serving or living post-president ever, I guess. I don't know how to quite explain it. Basically, he lived the least amount of time after his presidency. I don't know how to explain that or quantify that. Because he only lived 3 months after his presidency. Part of that was because I think he ended up going on like what's the word? It's like a post-presidential tour. Like, I'm gonna go travel across the country, see the American people, my constituencies, and then we're gonna retire and just live a normal, restful, peaceful life outside of the Oval Office without any stresses, cares, or etceteras in the world. Unfortunately for him, he does not do that. I believe during the trip he ends up getting sick and then basically dies. I will note, I think, so he wasn't the most, anti-slavery Democrat by any stretch of the imagination, but I will note in his defense, which I do think is a very big positive at least historically in the context of James K. Polk, is that he did, once his wife's passing, she didn't live in a very long time. I think she lived all the way up until the 1890s. He did have in his will that once his wife passes, that their slaves that he did own were to be freed. So I do want to put that as at least a relative positive in defense of James K. Polk. We're gonna push the big shiny red button.
Thank you for selecting us.
Okay, now we're gonna go run away,
Vessel annihilation sequence initiated.
so we don't get exploded onto.
Just a reminder, this vessel will self-destruct shortly, so you should leave now.
Yay! I did it! I got the thingamabobber. This is the Blackwater City one. And it is. I don't have 150,000 bolts though. But I can get the Rhino gun here. And once I get the Rhino gun, this game's gonna be 1,000 times easier. Thank God. But that's gonna be a little bit though, so I do have to be a little patient with that. I do want the Tesla gun too, I think, which I can get in this game.
Did you see that?
Yes, I hope that poor woman is all right.
She's fine, I think. I was talking about the hoverboard races.
Okay, now let's just go do this part here. Where are you going to be coming from? Open up, people. Yeah. Open up. Take that fire. Take that fire, son. Yeah. You get exploded, bro. Break that? Not for a lot of bolts, but... Hey, every bolt matters. Oh, shoot, shoot. Every bolt matters. Because I do have the intention of getting the Rhino this playthrough. And not only this playthrough, but specifically this much sooner than later, personally. Okay, there we go. Knew it was something like that. This is the good stuff. This. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Get way too into this game. It's like, talk dirty to me, Ratchet. Beautiful. Just... I want to cry. Ah, crap. Desperation for every single bolt is very real, people. Ah, crap. And that's not what I wanted to happen. Okay. We're gonna do this right. We're not going to be messing around. We're going to do this the proper way, as God intended. Not that proper way. More embarrassing than anything else. Really? Well, I just got more bolts, so any consolation, I'll take it. Okay. Pope dies in relatively early, and then he just, yeah, he's just a fading memory at that point. And again, uniquely and historically remembered as one of the better presidents that the country's ever seen, and I just don't agree with that. I think even if situations were different, and I just think he has totalitarian ideals, and I think he's very susceptible to ultimately the whims of not only the people, but I think just his congressional party, basically, in Congress. I think he was willing to do whatever Congress wanted to do, and if that means they're being warmongers, you know, then so be it. And I also find it interesting because a lot of those best presidents lists tend to, you know, highly rank the guys who do a lot to expand the federal government, you know, for whatever that's worth. Do keep that in mind whenever you look at a lot of those lists. So anyone that's going to be rated highly is going to probably be one who if you're much more of a libertarian-minded or conservative-minded individual, you're probably not going to look at a lot of those particular folks very fondly, you know? Really? Come on. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm trying to do. But nope, they're not going to give... Mother of God, I'm about to just lose my mind on this game. Boop, 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 boop. I need every single bolt that this game can give me. Each and every single one. Not a lot of eggs. All of the bacon and eggs that you have. Ugh. If only the Devastator had more ammo. Might as well start using this bad boy. Might as well. Did I destroy that fence? Oh, sweet. Let's do this smartly, like. Mother of God. That's not what I want. Too high. There we go. Now, to be fair, I'm not playing this game as well as I probably could right now. I'm just kind of going with it. Oh, here we go. This is the boss battle. That's the big corner right there. Run. Oh, that's not all what I wanted to do. Sure. Yeah, buddy. Get it. Get it. Get it. Boom. Follow. Oh, God. Yeah. See, that is beautiful right there. Now, if the game's controls were just much more simple, then this game would be a breeze. God, I'm terrible at this game. I'm sorry. I'm subjecting everyone to this. It's not my intention.
Thought I was a goner this time.
I mean, it is my intention because I'm playing it for you and I'm going to show this to you, so
You can come down now.
I'm just going to be quiet.
A gadget engineer deserves a bit more respect, if you ask me.
So, you are an inventor.
Gadget engineer. I create revolutionary devices for Executive Chairman Drek. For instance, the Ola.
Yeah,
My
buddy.
soon-to-be patented grind boots. Look, I
An
need to get out
absolute
of here so I
must
can find
in
a new
fashion
job.
and footwear.
How about I sell you these at cost?
Sell? After we just saved your scrawny
The
butt.
Maximus
All right,
grind
I'll give you
boots.
the employee discount too.
2,000.
I'm gonna get out
God,
of
I'm
here
never
while
gonna
I
get
still
this
can.
freaking rhino. I swear. Oh God. Oh goodness. Goodness gracious. Okay. I'm doing my grind boots. Yeah, let's do Blackwater City. Okay. Okay. We will do this side first, just because. Just because I want to. Yeah, why not? Where do I even begin with Zachary Taylor? Very fascinating human being. Just like his future successors, like Ulysses S. Grant, Eisenhower, a lot of these other leaders who started in the military and then became very prominent historical, political figures specifically. Zachary Taylor started as a soldier, obviously. He was a Virginian, one of the many presidents who in his country. Can you just imagine, like, the first, half of the people who have been president of this country all came from, like, largely one state. I think that's crazy. That's crazy, man. But it just shows you how prominent of a state Virginia was back then. I mean, like, they had so much influence, so many people, so much power. I mean, like, if you won Virginia, you had a great shot at winning the presidency back then. That's kind of how it was, It's like, oh, if you have, these, like, 3 or 4 states, you're gonna win a lot of votes. Similar vein. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Nope. Okay, that worked pretty well. Boop doop 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 doop. Whoa. Yeah, give me all those bolts. I need 150,000. Can I even get there? Ugh. I'm barely a third of the way there. Now, if I save and I don't spend any of my bolts, I'm gonna be able to get the Rhino. At a certain point, I just don't know when, but I will be able to get it. Can't spend any money on guns. And weapons, so I'm pretty much just stuck with what I have right now. I need to be a little bit more frugal with my weapons. Oh. Can you give it to me at a discounted price, bro?
Rhino for your robot. Trade you.
Well, okay.
Ratchet.
I'm kidding. Sorry, he's not for sale. What's a rhino anyway?
Rip ya a new one.
What did you just say to me?
R-Y-N-O. Rip ya a new one.
Why, that's the most powerful missile launcher in the galaxy. I know it's worth a lot of bolts. He must have stolen it from the Flars.
Stolen. Look, trash can. Did I say's anything about it being hot? You better watch your mouth or I'll...
Wait, don't tell me. Rip you a new one.
You know, I'm gonna get there. I believe in myself. I'm gonna get there. I mean, just doing the math, let's say, especially in these later levels, if I can get 20,000 per level, let's just say 20,000 per level, which can happen. That means I would need to do at least 4-ish more levels, not including this one, in order to hypothetically get it. Good God. What's going to be necessary? It's going to be necessary because it's going to make the ending of this game go by so much faster. And make the rest of this game go by so much simpler, quicker, and easier. I need to get everything. That's the tricky part. That's the tricky part. What the world needs love. Love, sweet love. Just another hippie song with no real impact on the world, if I'm gonna be honest. But still a nice, catchy little tune. I can't hit anything to save my freaking life right now. Habla! 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 I burn you with the flames of Olympus. You know, I think that's another video game franchise I should probably be doing too, is the original God of War. That's tough though, because I love those games. Don't get me wrong, I think there are certain issues and problems with, you know, the newer games, let's just say. But I think it's very hard for me to go back to the old God of War games, especially after being personally and thoroughly impressed with what they were able to do with Kratos and just what they were able to really make out of that. I can't go back to the old God of War, at least playing it for sure. And that sounds bad. Because I used to just love those games. I played all of them religiously. I don't know, it's just tough. I'm trying to just square it together, and I don't know if I can. We're so used to playing one particular style, one particular way, and now it's just hard. I'll just put it that way. Very, very, very hard. Of course you're gonna restrict me on that one. Bullocks. is what the world needs, love. Love, sweet love. There's 2 tanks. Oop, wrong, damn it. Ugh, need to get it together, people. There we go. Sorry, the controls are reversed for when you actually fire the gun. So, like, if I move the control stick up, like I normally would, like this, it actually goes down. So, like, when I fire it, I'm thinking it's gonna go that particular way still, and it doesn't. And I'm just like, what the fuck, game? Okay.
Welcome to the HoverCon Intergalactic Hoverboard Competition. Captain Quark's giving away a brand new Platinum Zoomerator to the winner of this competition.
A platinum zoomerator. Perhaps that will be the proof of your accomplishments that Skid's agent requires.
Wait, do you guys mean
Now,
Skid
Zachary
McMarks?
Taylor.
Yeah, Skid couldn't make it, so we're here to,
Zachary Taylor
fill
had
in
different, I think,
Say about that.
well, I don't want to say a different upbringing. It's probably not the best way to put it. I think he had, life worked out very weirdly for him. Because he originally, he wasn't originally supposed to be, a part of the military, actually. He was supposed to be, like, a planter, a farmer, and, just live the farmer's lifestyle. But he basically gets called up at a pretty young age, around 22, in some form of Virginian conscription to be a part of the War of 1812 and then the eventual Seminole Native American Wars. That he ends up making a pretty prominent name for himself as a military leader and strategist. Gets a lot of praise from his contemporaries and his other individuals. I think he specifically himself fought in William Henry Harrison's military regiment. Forgot. I think he did. Not quite positive. But regardless, he makes a relatively prominent name for himself and kind of becomes like, over time, like the number 2 or 3 kind of guy in the military political office game. Damn it! I still have the slightest chance. I just have to not mess up, make all the right turns. I hope that this guy messes up badly. Damn it. It's second place. As you can see, I'm not the biggest fan of hoverboarding in this game. I do feel like that it's one of those game designs that I understand why they did it, and I think if they just implemented certain things a little bit better, then I think these little mini side games become far better than what they actually are. But to me, they're just really more annoying nuisances than actual compelling extra additive side content. God. Especially with like all these things, like it's just tight controls for a little mini game like this are absolutely a necessity, at least for me, in my personal view. But then again, my personal view definitely will differ from a lot of people. I'm not saying that people don't enjoy this, I'm just saying that, especially if this had to be a necessity, in terms of actually completing this mission to beat the game, I think you're going to have a lot more problems and issues than... Quit. character. I'm not doing this 10,000 pardon my language fucking times again. I don't know if I got through this part the last time, but I think I ended up spending half an hour on just racing this same exact track over and over and over again, and I'm not doing it a second time. I'm just not. I don't find enjoyment in this. Just want to get this done. I'm only doing it just so I can have a much more completionist playthrough and just do at least some of the main potential story stuff. There's no other reason why I'm doing it otherwise. That, and I just hate these guys, especially the second place Urfer, who's clearly cheating. He's got like some indestructible armor because he gets hit by like these red boxes and it doesn't even affect him. And I'm just like, you're cheating. You're just cheating, bro. You're cheating. I'm not salty. You're cheating. I'm not talking to myself like I'm a bad man. You're just cheating. Clearly losing my mind. But, Zachary Taylor then just basically resigns himself to, well, not resigns himself, but he's like, well, might as well make this a career, so he ends up just becoming a military leader, brigadier general, whatever you want to call it, rises through the ranks, and especially during the Indian Wars, during this particular point in time, which take place largely post War of 1812. I mean, he's a big factor in a lot of the battles that would eventually ensue from like 26-ish to roughly around 1836, somewhere around that particular point in time. And you know, he's a big deal within the military. And then when the Mexican-American War comes out, he's like one of the top 2 or 3 guys at this point. Now, how the Mexican-American War starts, by the way. But before I take that back. Before I get started, let me just explain who Zachary Taylor is. He's quiet. I don't want to say he's humble. He's not particularly bright, I would say. He's pretty much just like... I don't even say that he's not bright. He's just much more like aloof in a lot of ways, except for certain military things. I don't think he has the political wherewithal that a lot of his contemporaries do have, which leads to a lot of, well, let's say, contention with politics. And I don't think he really cared too much, to be honest with you. Like, he's just everything I read about him, even on things that will defend him, was that, you know, for all the great military capacity they had to invigorate leadership, which I think is incredibly important, because I think leaders are very important to societies, because if you have a weak leader, you're going to have a weak society. That's just going to happen. And, you know, he's such a mixed bag because, you know, he's this great military general that a lot of people will ride and die for. You know, call him rough and ready for a reason. But he also is someone that I think, you know, I should probably make it to that platform first before I go buck wild and crazy. Just eat me, fishies. But he's a particularly fascinating one because he's a good military leader, not a great leader of people. If that makes any sense. I don't think he's one that inspires the most amount of confidence in overall. And I don't know if it's just because, like, maybe being a military leader is one thing, but he does have, you know, historically the positive aspects of being a great military leader to support his resume as an eventual president. But what does he do during the Mexican-American War? Well, he's the one that effectively starts it under the command of James K. Polk, but she just argues with him left and right because he's like, "This, we probably shouldn't be doing these things." And Polk's like, "Shut up! You're gonna do what I tell you to do." And then actively discourages a lot of the things that happens during that particular point in time. I should also note as well that other presidents and political leaders are in the Mexican-American War. Notably, Franklin Pierce is a part of this war, which is an unfortunate story for Franklin Pierce because that story is more funny than actually like heroic in any way, shape, and form. Basically, like Franklin Pierce is like about to charge in the battle, but he scares his own horse and he falls off of it, or he buckles the horse, and the horse actually slams him so hard into his groin that he falls off the horse. Don't know if that's completely true, but that's just like, you know, certain stories and books that you read about these people. I'm just like, what? Really? Why would you put that in the book? Like it's just like he was throwing so much shade at these people. But for Franklin, or not Franklin Pierce, Zachary Taylor, I mean, he was just in complete odds with. Okay. Screw it. So we gotta go. 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 No more wasting time. We gotta go, fam. Okay, so far I think I'm making good time. So far, I think. Okay. The last time I did that, I died very, very early on. Do I have enough air to get me through this? I do. First try. God, last time that took me like 4 tries. Maybe I'm getting better, people. But the relationship between him and Polk is objectively just not good. Let's not mince words here. It's as bad as it can humanly be. Just gonna murk these guys real quick. I gotta give you more bolts.
Hey, press conference is over. Captain Quark don't want no more reporters bugging him in his trailer.
Oh, you see, my friend and I need to speak to the captain about a matter of galactic security.
You mean you and your walking camera? You paparazzi make me sick. Now beat it.
But sir, I'm sure the Captain Quark will understand once we...
Now, save it. I know how it works. You convince me to let you in. You snap a picture of the captain in his underpants. Then you sell a picture to the info tabloid for $1 million volts.
You've got it all wrong.
Meanwhile, I'm stuck here making 6 volts an hour, and I have to listen to a lecture from that cheapskate Quark. So you don't get in unless I get a kickback in advance.
4,000?
You
Good
see
God.
how it works? You grease the hinges, the door opens.
Captain Quark?
What's that?
It's Ratchet and Clank, Captain. You know, from the
Oh, yes, I know who you are.
You do?
Yes, and thank the galaxy you found me.
Huh?
There's an awful plot being hatched to destroy our planets.
Ratchet, he knows.
Great. Does that mean we can go hoverboarding now?
My friends, we're all in grave danger, and I believe that together we can put a stop to this madness.
Together? You mean you want our help?
Look, Ratchet, I've been keeping an eye on you, and I've never seen anyone with such raw talent. You are a true hero in the making.
Really? You mean I could be famous?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, here, take this. What makes one man toil in obscurity while another becomes a hero? Is it strength, compassion, determination, or just pure blind luck? Wise men through the ages have struggled with that very question, but Captain Quark knows the secret. That's why he's been able to defeat more despots, rescue more damsels in distress, and save more civilizations than any other hero in the galaxy. Now is your opportunity to see if you got
I think I should explain a little bit about more about Taylor, him, and his military exploits, especially during the Mexican-American War. Because little tidbit, by the way, his daughter was, I think, the first wife of Jefferson Davis, believe it or not, who is, for those of you who do or do not know, was the president of the Confederacy during the Civil War. But she actually passes away very early in their marriage, which he disapproved of, by the way, just saying. I think it's more so just, I don't like this guy. It's just funny. I don't know why. I find it entertaining. I think he has like 6 kids, I think, overall, though. Okay, marriage, not... But he doesn't really have political beliefs. You know, he's just a military man. He won a bunch of battles during the Seminole Wars and Indian Wars, and then it's the Mexican-American War that he gains a lot of his standing, you know. And I think 2 reasons why it's complicated in terms of the historical legacy of that war is because, first and foremost, he starts negotiating with the Hispanic government and the Mexican army, who want to end the war because they're getting their butts kicked by him and General Winfield Scott. And basically, this leads to Polk just basically getting irritated by him and trying to fire him. But then he's like, well, screw you guys, I'm just going to go keep fighting. And then he just keeps fighting. And the famous battle of, I think it's called Buena Vista. The Battle of Buena Vista, where he just routs like one of the largest Mexican military forces or regiments, and really decisive battle. And he's basically like the second coming of Andrew Jackson to a lot of these people. But basically, once the war is largely over, and he just wants to retire, he's asked by Henry Clay to be a Whig and to be the presidential nominee for the Whig Party along with Millard Fillmore, which was also very controversial for a couple of reasons, but more so specifically the reality is that I think Zachary Taylor is the last president to legally own slaves and to bring slaves to the White House. So it's a bit of a sore subject for a lot of people, and the Whigs themselves were largely, they weren't anti-slavery, but they were the party that that most of the people who were anti-slavery would come from. I mean, I would say a large portion of the Republican Party that would eventually be formed starts with the Whigs, and that's why I tend to look at politics as like, you guys really don't care about certain things until it affects your party or your bottom line. So that's why I'm just like, I don't have some morals and have some standards, and you're gonna win a lot more people than you think you would if you just had some decency, more so than what headlines look like. And unfortunately, people don't have these particular attitudes. And the truth is that it's unfortunately true. Like, they don't have these attitudes because ultimately, at the end of the day, things like this happen where, like, you're gonna give up your thing because ultimately your guy's gonna win. It's like, yeah, we just want to win really badly. That's why I can't stand what's happened in the political process today, But that's just besides itself, though. And I'd rather not talk about the more modern stuff because I don't want to get silenced on YouTube or any other streaming platforms. Cause I usually do this on multiple platforms, just out of curiosity, see who would even want to listen to my nonsensical rambles. Good God, fam. Oh, another one. Overall, I'm doing pretty good. This is the one time I bought ammo because I know I'm gonna need it for this part, and I'd rather not have to buy numerous amounts of ammo and not do this part 15 times, personally. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, I dodged that. Whatever. I do understand that, you know, for a lot of people did see Zachary Taylor as, at least militarily speaking, the next, you know, the next Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson's still popular, overwhelmingly so with the American people, and they see the Democrats kind of just doing a lot of infighting and a lot of things going on. It's really weird. Martin Van Buren's a part of like the weird You American Party. Like Democrats tend to are a little bit more in flux than they normally would be at this particular point in time. There's no real guidance once Andrew Jackson leaves and Martin Van Buren's largely gone and out of the political scene for the most part. Which is why you tend to get somewhat random leaders like you know, James K. Polk just kind of just being a dude who's just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm gonna be the next president, I guess, and then we'll see how it goes, fam. Like and subscribe, you know, like, I don't know, he's just got that type of energy. Still open? Okay, should probably hurry then. Yes. Worth it. Really? Do it? Nah, I did it this time. Okay. I'll be fair, had Polk run again, he probably wins re-election. But that's also just a tough... That's a tough nut to crack, unfortunately, for... You know, I don't know personally. But, was it Lewis Cass? It might have been Lewis Cass again, who was running for the presidency for the Democratic ticket. And this leads to Zachary Taylor with Miller Fillmore as his president, and I'm saying that because it's going to be important in just a little bit. And Zachary Taylor largely wins a pretty decisive victory in the election of 1848, becoming the 12th President of the United States of America. Now, the big question is, what the hell does he do as president? And kinda not a lot. Both for just because he has no real idea what he's doing politically, also just a lot of infighting within the Whig Party still, because just like with the previous John Tyler, it's just like Henry Clay's still kind of there. He's still trying to influence a lot of things. He's still got some juice as a political figure, but ultimately and largely so, dude just doesn't care. He does not give a rat's bootay about what Henry Clay has to say, and largely what, you know, is going to happen. He's just going to do what he's going to do, and just do what he thinks is right, which he has no idea what he's doing. Very few people do, in fairness. You know, I'm not going to try to give benefit of the doubt to a lot of people, but do understand, like, this guy's lived his whole life as a military leader. Now, what am I going to do with trying to square, you know, another Missouri Compromise kind of thing going on with the issue of slavery when I myself own slaves, you know? It's a very tricky subject, just to explain and point out. Damn, sucker. Move, sucker. Wee. Ooh. Boom. I'm gonna use up the last one. There we go. Just had to. So far, so good. I'm getting close to like the 20,000 per level. Should have it with at least like 5 or 6 levels to, or 3 or 4 levels to spare. That'll be good. I'm hoping it'll be good. Zachary Taylor only is president, by the way, I should just note, just to get it out of the way, for about a year and a half. Now, if you're wondering what happens to him, it's pretty clear and succinct. He dies in office. Unlike William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor was a much older gentleman. I think he's well into his 60s by the time that he becomes president and he dies in office. Ironically, the 2 Whig presidents that won their respective elections both died in office, and I find that super funny. And I just find, which just goes to show you the dysfunction of the Whig Party, that they're so desperate to just get old, you know, military leaders back, you know, just into the swing of things, that they're just like, we will sell our souls to get into political office, even if it is not very conducive for us overall. But basically, old Rough and Ready ends up passing away in office, basically to a stomach bug. Some people thought it was initially from like arsenic poisoning, or just being poisoned in general accidentally or intentionally. I don't know, but a lot of people thought he was poisoned. Although that has largely been confirmed to be untrue, that he just died of natural causes. I think they ended up doing research and actually exhumed his body for that specific purpose to see if the results or because he actually died of poisoning. They're like, nope, he just was old and just got sick. That's basically what we can conclusively say he died of. Hey, Quark. Broski.
You two continue to surprise me. Step into the ring of heroes, and I will finally give you what you deserve.
Ratchet, this is no time for you to become cautious. We have reached our goal.
I don't know. There's something fishy going on here.
Listen to your little metal friend, Ratchet. Your destiny is mere steps away.
It's just something doesn't seem right.
This is it. Quark is going to help us stop
It
Chairman
is so
Drake.
dry over here.
Why,
I'm not
thank
even
you,
joking.
Clank. You've been most helpful.
Get off of me, you idiot!
Now,
I love it when a plan comes together.
what he does in that year and a half is really not a lot, because he's basically just trying to...
You catch on quick. Although there is
He's
one
really just
problem.
trying to do nothing. I mean, that's basically it.
You're not?
No, he is.
What?
I mean, he doesn't do anything. I don't even know how to do that.
Really not that
Which,
difficult to
he's
explain.
really the beginnings of a lot of the issues that lead to slavery, or the Civil Wars.
The way of my
Is
comeback.
it's like the three presidents after Polk, the four presidents after Polk really aren't able to get a lot of things done. They're not able to do a lot of things in terms of the legislative process and leave a lot to be desired. Get away! Dance, sucker. Move, sucker. Dance, sucker. Yep, there we go. That's what I want. Running. Now, is it his fault? I think he's just trying to figure things out. I think he and his vice president don't get along very well. Millard Fillmore, another very fascinating individual who campaigned very heavily for him, by the way. So it's like, bro, what the hell? You're gonna use me as an advisor? I'm a pretty prominent figure in politics at this point. Enough so to be your vice president, for Pete's sake. But nope, doesn't listen to him. It doesn't help in any way, really. And can't help in any way. And Zachary Taylor's just trying to keep order of things, I think, largely. But he's also, unfortunately, of a much older age. And, you know, just wasn't as capable in terms of leading the country as he probably should have at that particular point in time.
I wonder what that infobot is for.
Maybe it can.
Because basically he was just someone that,
The ships are hammering our position from
how do I even explain it? Just his time. He was trying to deal with the stuff that is becoming California. He was trying to deal with the stuff that was the expansion of slavery. Mostly stuff that's going to be figured out by Millard Fillmore, his vice president and subsequent successor. The Compromise of 1850. He's largely just trying to do that, trying to deal with the financial recovery, I guess to a certain degree, of ultimately what ended up becoming a very expensive war for the country, the war of the Mexican-American War. You can also argue the beginnings of, like, you know, maybe the military-industrial complex.
This is not like you.
What do you know about
Because it's
me?
like America's kind of getting a little land grabby. They're really going very headstrong into the wars against the Native Americans at this point. Just depends on how you want to look at things from just a perspective point of view. So, yeah, we had a lot of things going on, and largely didn't do too much. Obviously, there's little things that he was a part of, that he was trying to do against the wills of Henry Clay, you know, but I just think for a man who was roughly around, probably, what, 65, 66 when he died, you know, it's just, it is what it is. He was just old, and didn't have the vigor that he once had when he was a lot younger, you know? By Zachary Taylor, largely. And unfortunately for him, and fortunately for him, he's remember he is obviously on like a bottom tier list of like presidents and stuff, but it's more incomplete than anything else because they just don't know how he was gonna particularly lead and go about governing. So I think it's a fair statement to say that it's potentially up in the air, but hey, I don't know. That's just me.
Attention, you deserting maggots! The next time you soldiers try to go AWOL, I'll shoot you myself.
Look, I just want to
zip it, worm. You see those bombers? If you don't get to the turrets and knock those ships out of the sky, this whole planet's gonna be rubble. Meet me at the city entrance.
He needs our help.
Yeah, why don't you go help him into another trap? Well, go on. Go fight
Poor
some-
Clank. Guy, he's just getting screwed up on this part right here, bro.
Whatever. As soon as I find Quark, I'm selling you.
Alright. I am going to stop this part right here, and I'm going to see you guys later. God bless. Hope you have a good one. Stay cool out there. Like and subscribe.